Hi, my name is Deanna Dunham, Ganigehaga, Niwagamasota, Oswego, Nidawageno. I'm a Mohawk member of Six Nations of the Grand River, and I have settler ancestry. I'm also the director of Indigenous Initiatives at Kids Help Phone, and I am incredibly honored to be selected for this award. The nonprofit sector has taught me that despite all of the sad and sometimes scary things happening in the world, people are kind and people are generous, and I have been reminded of that every day since I joined Kids Help Phone. Indigenous people face a lot of challenges in the nonprofit space. In some ways, DEI initiatives present new challenges. I think that there's a tendency to sort of amalgamate different equity-deserving groups into one big umbrella. We use terms like BIPOC that reduce First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples to the letter I. I think we have a lot in common with different equity-deserving groups, but there are also a lot of differences. I think this conflation ignores the fact that Indigenous peoples have nation-to-nation relationships with Canada. We're the only ones with race-based legislation like the Indian Act. And we have our own governments, we have our own systems, we have our own rights, which we exert every day. So engaging with Indigenous peoples isn't only a matter of adhering to corporate DEI policies. In many cases, it's the law. One of the reasons I'm so proud to work at Kids Help Phone is that the organization recognized long before I joined that Indigenous leadership was critical to the success of our work, not only in our Indigenous initiatives, but to the organization as a whole. So many decisions that impact Indigenous peoples are made in boardrooms in Toronto and Ottawa, where less than 1% of the population are Indigenous. There's a sort of out of sight, out of mind phenomenon that prevents Indigenous voices from being heard. Corporate Canada needs to do better and be incredibly intentional in ensuring Indigenous peoples have seats at these tables. We need to be visible and present as living reminders that we are here and we have so much to contribute. KHP's board would actually be out of compliance without Black and Indigenous representation at the table. The first thing I did when I joined in 2018 was to establish an Indigenous Advisory Council to lead our work. It's made up of Indigenous experts in mental health who develop our strategy and really drive the work forward.
Thank you for calling Kids Help Phone. How can I help you?
The Canadian charity has provided counseling services for over 3 decades and launched a new program last year targeting Indigenous youth.
We're looking, of course, at service use and doing everything we can to ensure we're reaching Indigenous young people where they live.
My colleagues at Kids Help Phone are incredible, and one of the many things that makes them so is their willingness to learn and unlearn what they know about Indigenous people. And they embrace these learnings and really use them to inform their roles and have a greater impact on the lives of Indigenous young people. We're very fortunate to have donors who share our values and really understand the need for Kids Help Phone services in Indigenous communities. More than that, they understand that traditional impact measures should never be used for Indigenous support services. We need to step away from KPIs around the number of youth served and recognize that every child matters, even if it costs more to reach them in remote communities. And these conversations need to extend to partners and vendors who are focused often on demonstrating the efficacy of their work. It can take ongoing conversations to remain committed to our intentions and really ensure that every young person across Canada has access and awareness of our services.